Have you ever wondered how you take a really complex technical idea, the kind of thing you'd find buried in a patent filing, and turn it into a daily podcast? Well, that's exactly the question at the heart of the G2 and J2 systems. This isn't just about a portfolio of technologies, it's about a fascinating machine for exploring and communicating big ideas systematically. We're going to break down exactly how it works.
So here's the core challenge, right? Picture this. You've got 13 brilliant patent-worthy ideas. Now what? How do you keep those ideas alive? I mean, not just protect them, but actually make them better every single day. It sounds almost impossible, but the G2/J2 system has a really structured and, frankly, a pretty unusual solution.
All right, so to really get the solution, we first have to understand the what. What is all of this built on? Well, at the very heart of this engine is a portfolio of really high-value intellectual property. These are the crown jewels, the assets that fuel the whole machine.
13. That's the magic number here. It drives absolutely everything. The entire system is built to explore just 13 core innovations. It's actually a surprisingly small number, which tells you right away just how incredibly focused this whole process is.
And these aren't just vague concepts. Each one of these assets is specifically designed to create what the source material calls key betterment points. The best way to think about that is a specific, measurable improvement. So the goal isn't just to invent something out of the blue, but to make a system that already exists tangibly, provably better.
And this table really shows the incredible range we're talking about. I mean, it goes from civic tech, like the G2 voter auditable election system, all the way to industrial hardware. But check this one out, the G2 Secure Data Transmission Protocol. This is dealing with stuff like quantum-resistant encryption. Super complex, super important stuff. So how can one system possibly dive deep into all these different fields every single day? Well, that's what makes the process itself so brilliant.
Okay, so we've got the what, those 13 core assets. But how do they actually become daily content? Well, it all starts with a single, simple daily trigger. This is literally the ignition switch for the entire engine.
And here it is, the Daily Innovation Brief. Now, this isn't some complicated report or a big meeting. It's just the starting gun. Its only job is to kick off this highly structured workflow that channels these big, complex ideas into a whole suite of daily media.
Yep, that's it. The entire trigger. Just those 3 words. And the policy is super explicit about this. This exact phrase has to be manually typed each day. There's no automation here. It's a deliberate human command that says, okay, start the engine.
So, the trigger gets pulled. What happens next? Well, the system doesn't just go off and do its own thing. It follows a very strict content policy. Think of these as the rules of the game for turning those core ideas into actual, tangible content. And the workflow is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It starts with that manual trigger we just talked about. Next up is sync, which is all about making sure everything is based on the absolute latest source documents. From there, the main event is the output, coming up with 3 new innovations based on the portfolio. And finally, those innovations get turned into the daily artifacts. And this right here might just be the most important rule in the entire system. All the content, all the new ideas have to come only from the original source documents. No Googling, no external research for the core concepts. It's a totally closed loop. The whole point is to force a deeper and deeper exploration of its own ideas without any outside noise.
And the amount of stuff they have to produce is huge. Every single day, this process demands 9 pieces of media. That's 3 cinematic videos, 3 audio podcasts, and 3 infographics. It's a relentless, high-volume production line, and it's all built for one very specific purpose.
Which brings us to the big question. Why? Why on earth would you build such a rigid, high-output system like this? What's the end game for all this structure and daily grind?
And the answer is what makes this so fascinating. This isn't a marketing machine. The whole content creation process is actually a form of R&D. Think about it. By forcing a daily, deep exploration of how to improve these systems, those key betterment points, the very act of creating the content improves the core technology itself. The podcast literally becomes part of the patent's evolution. It's wild.
And it creates this perfect feedback loop. The source material spells it out. The goal is to make the process of creating content efficient, faster, and better. So, making the content improves the technology, and the strict process improves how the content gets made. Everything is designed to optimize everything else.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to end on. In a world that's just drowning in information, is this the future of innovation? A disciplined, focused process where the act of explaining an idea is the very thing that makes it better? Maybe the best way to build something new is to just talk about it every single day.